We have
I've got the
Nicolay's.
COVID course. I've
Okay.
got the COVID course, COVID-19 course mask I'm wearing just for your show.
Okay. Well, thank you. We have Nicolay's own Kato Kaelin, which we appreciate. Kato, you were 77 at Nicolay, was it, or 76?
3 more years I got left. 77,
Okay.
baby.
77. Okay. So this was Kato is a very good friend of mine from you knew him from high school. We'll just say his name is Jack, and so I got to know Kato over the last few years, and every time we talk, you're one of the biggest Packer fans I know. So we have Colin Lindsay here, who is an unbelievable draft, Nick. And do you have any questions about Kato? Do you have any questions about the Packers from California?
I got a few things. Actually, I think it's I don't know if Colin will agree with me or not. Here's what I think's happening. Are you ready, Colin?
I'm ready for anything.
I think what's happening is with Jordan Love. Look, I went to 2 exhibition games last year, and then I watched them all, and I said, Tim Boyle, this guy's a stud. I got a feeling that we're going to use Jordan Love a lot like Sean Payton as Taysom Hill. And I got a feeling he runs the 4.7440. He's 225 pounds. I got a feeling we're going to do a lot of wildcat. That's just my gut. And by the way, Jordan Love's got to really prove himself. The NFL, they feast on guys that throw interceptions. We cannot have a guy. We have Rodgers, who's an expert. He's like a surgeon. And if this guy starts throwing interceptions, it's going to be a terrible, terrible draft choice.
Well, I think that kind of goes without saying. What I would have loved to have seen with Jordan Love is for him to have played with a good team. The other quarterbacks are playing they got high school All-Americans all around him. And, he's playing with guys who weren't even household names in their own homes. So, give him a chance. And as I say, he's got that terrific arm strength, arm talent that you can't teach. Absolutely, you can't turn the ball over in the National Football League, but that's a kind of a thing you can work on it. And certainly lots of kids have come into the league, turned the ball over a lot earlier in their careers, and then kind of learn the art of protecting the football. If you can't do it, you have a problem. But as I said, I think this is a talented kid. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they put him in some situations, because he is dangerous with the ball in his own hands, in his hands and things of that nature. I don't think he's got the all-around athletic ability of a Taysom Hill, but he's certainly got some athletic ability.
But you have to watch out. Look what happened to Colin Kaepernick. All of a sudden, he kind of hit the wall and started going down. And those defenses, you don't want your defenses to have shots at the quarterback. So do you keep them? Do you prevent them from running? I mean, every time A-Rod runs or does a quarterback sneak, I just kind of hold my breath thinking, don't give him a concussion, because somebody's going to come up and just try to nail him. And I remember the concussions he had. He's had 2 concussions since 2010, and you just don't want to have those hits.
Yeah, and that's probably another reason why we drafted the quarterback. He gets another concussion. It's going to be like the Steve Young saying, you know what, I better get out of the league. Although I love Rodgers, and I think, they're replaying stuff on ESPN with the Pittsburgh. I'm sure you saw Super Bowl Packers.
Absolutely.
And you realize watching that, you go, you had Jones, Jordy Nelson, you had Driver. He had so many weapons. We had Finley. It was like, oh, my God, the Packers could have gone undefeated. They were so good. And I'm praying. And by the way, the Funchess pickup, Devin Funchess, when I watched him on Indianapolis, I was going, this guy's a stud. We have him now. He's going to be gigantic. And I think Lazard is going to be a stud, too. I got a feeling our wide receivers, I think Aaron's going, why aren't we drafting these guys? I got a feeling the guys we have now are going to be just so much better this year coming up. I mean, they're studs. And Scanlon, too.
Kato Kaelin out of Nicolay, the former Knight, bringing it. Tom Pippin's here. It's great to see you again, Fred. You look fantastic. How are you, brother?
Hall of Fame. Tom Pippin in the
house. Checks in the mail. Great seeing you. Okay, so put on the Gutekunst hat right now. We know the pressure's on because they drafted for the future. What are you doing at 62, assuming he stays there and doesn't go up or down?
Yeah, Kato, what do you think?
I think with Tom, I think we've got to get all these offensive tackles are going. We got to protect the quarterback. It has to be. You know, every draft you got safeties, DBs. We've got enough. I think we've got to protect the quarterback, especially if Love does come in. You got to have these, you know, like Miami's doing. They're getting all the offensive tackles because they know Tua is going to need help, and he's got to develop skills. And if he's got time, if you have time in the NFL to throw, you're going to complete passes and touchdowns. Tom, I think you know that. Book that. Thank you.
You know, I kind of like it, guys. I agree with him. I mean, again, the sexy pick as a receiver, we're begging for a receiver, and yet you got to take care of the franchise, don't you, John? Especially with a fellow named Brian Bulaga now playing for the Chargers.
Yeah, Bulaga, that one was tough. But again, you can't win without Brian Bulaga, but you can't sign 31-year-old Brian Bulaga like you could 25-year-old Brian Bulaga. But I'll ask Colin, how deep do you think from now on for value is the offensive tackle? Because we're looking at Jones and Cleveland. We're just talking about that. Is there a significant drop off, or are they pretty much equal in the next 10 to 15 at the tackle?
No, I think there's a fairly significant drop off. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the concerns are with those two kids, but you know, they were in the class in a group that you felt could come in and play fairly soon. You got a bunch of other guys out there, Matt Pert of UConn, and several other players like that have some nice size. They've got some good athleticism, but they're really more developmental type guys. And there is a fairly significant drop off. I don't know what we're at 47. You got 15 picks to go. Still those two guys out there. So you cross your fingers. And again, I will repeat, when you get two guys or a guy that's dropping way past where you expect him to go, on the one hand you get excited, hey, we could get this kid. But at the same time, you're asking yourself, why is he dropping? Is there something there that other teams who have issues at those positions also, why are they passing on this kid? And, if the other teams are passing on it, then certainly the Packers are going to know what the issue is. And so we'll just wait and see.
The big example
Colin Winfield went to Minnesota. Just to update, JD, and then right to you. I'm sorry. Winfield, the safety, went to Minnesota. Or forgive me, from Minnesota, went to the Buccaneers. KJ Hamler, wide receiver, Penn State, to Denver. So another wide receiver is off.
Wow, yeah, they're going speed and all that sort of stuff outside. They got Judy in the first round. So they're doubling up there. Hamler's a really interesting kid. He's not a very big guy, but very, very fast. And as I said, he didn't run at the combine, and it really cost him because then he didn't get to run at his pro day. They were talking about him running a 4.35. Again, not the kind of kid who's going to go out and catch 110 passes, but a kid with real speed, real quickness, and he can get deep. And all of a sudden, the Broncos, they're playing in a division where you have to play Kansas City 2 times a year and beat Kansas City in order to get into the playoffs. And it looks like they're taking the Chiefs model of speed, and more speed on the outside, and trying to replicate that.
I was talking.
I think the other thing, 2 things real quick. I think with Bulaga out, I think Jack, our friend, has better knees than him. I think he keeps going out with these injuries. I really think that I think that was a wise move, and I think we're going to get. I don't know if you guys go. I did spend a lot of time the exhibition season going to 2 games and then watching everything I could on my satellite dish. We've got a great core of receivers. We got guys with speed, and I just think if it's their second year now, that whole thing of being the scares, the frights are over. I think that they are ready to play. I think they're going to step it up, and I really think this is going to be Lazard's breakout season. I know Scanlon didn't have a very good season, but I think it's all you put pressure on these guys. I think they put pressure on each other. They're just going to get better. And with Rodgers, they won him in his last. He's going to be 37. They want to win a Super Bowl with this guy.
MVS got hurt early in the year. He had a knee injury, and he played with a knee injury. So that was a young player playing with an injury. And then you got EQ St. Brown, who actually was very impressive in camp until he blew his knee, or he actually was it his ankle or his knee up in Calgary. They were playing on that 80-yard field up in Calgary, and his foot got stuck, got bent on that AstroTurf, and that was a shame because I think they're high on him, and I think he was good at practice at the end of the year.
I think
and
millions of people want to know.
The other receiver is kind of they use him at the end of the year and long hair. He's got great hands, and I can't think of his name offhand.
Kumaro.
What?
Kumaro.
Yeah.
I think
White woman Jesus.
They're going to show up.
Yeah. Kato, how you doing without Brewers baseball, man? Are you making it or what?
You know, I have a dialogue with a lot of the guys that write for the Journal Sentinel. I talk to them a lot. I'm going insane because I really love the Brewers. I don't like mistakes. I don't like some of the decisions they make. But yeah, I'm really missing it, and I think we're going to have it in Arizona soon. The COVID baseball season, but I'm really missing it, and it's a shame that I'm sure it's bronze last year just to see some of these guys that Milwaukee is a special city, special fans. I've been to many stadiums, but there's no fans more loyal than Milwaukee. I'm one of them. My passion gets in the way a lot, but my God, I am a diehard Wisconsin everything fan, and I hate that I get so upset and it ruins my days. If the Packers lose on a Sunday, don't even get near me. If the Brewers are choking, I won't answer phone calls. I have 15 spare TV remotes just in case, Tom.
Kato, that's what makes you special, man. You're passionate, and it's typical of Wisconsinites everywhere with their sports. Colin, again, want to be sensitive.
Tom, it got so bad, I broke my bobblehead. I broke his hand.
Oh, no. It looks beautiful, man. I never got anything like that. They wouldn't even make a hand for me. They said, just get out of here, dude, and be thankful for what you had. Colin Lindsay up there.
I'm giving you a hand now. I think you're terrific.
In Canada. Thank you. Want to be, again, sensitive to your time because, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this draft guru has a life. Any particular thoughts you have about the draft to this point, if you're able to stay with us for a moment or two, up to the Packers pick or not here in round 2 tonight?
Yeah, I was only going to hang around for a few minutes, but we're getting close enough that I'll hang in there and we'll do that pick, and maybe I'll try and come back for the later one. So far, what's kind of striking me, we've had a few surprises, but so far, particularly on this second day, almost all the kids being taken are, pretty where you'd think they would be going. You have Marlon Davidson just went to Atlanta. Combo defensive end, defensive tackle kind of a thing. That's a team that really needs to upgrade its pass rush, and he's a versatile kind of guy. This to me, the surprise of this draft is that there really haven't been a whole lot of surprises so far, and so we'll just carry on here.
Colin, I think you have the great mentality, and I think John does too. I don't want to speak for Kato, but I think we get antsy, we get passionate. I'm watching all these good players come off the board, and if I'm a GM, if I'm Gutekunst sitting there at 62, I'm saying, man, I got to make a move here, But you have to have the temperament, don't you? And you have to trust the process, I guess, as the former coach of the Pack, now with the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy used to say.
Yeah, you really do. I would say to Kato, we are very lucky in this state to have David Stearns with the Brewers, and just the Bucks GM, the GMs we've had with the Packers. We don't have the greatest weather to sell free agents, and they're doing a nice job. And the fact that we're able to keep our MVPs, all three of them, in this state, especially the Brewers able to, they had to let some people go, but you got enough money and you can keep them. So I don't know. It's tough being in those fragile franchises in the small markets.
Yeah, but I think it's the reason why is because I think it's the way they know they're playing to full stadiums. I think that's probably the best thing. Even the athletes know that it gives them extra energy, and they have the best fans. I'm not just saying that because I'm from there. They really do, and they know their sports. They're passionate, and I think there's a lot of loyalty that is no longer in sports. You go for the money, but it's. I think Wisconsin people are loyal. They'll stay with it, and I think that the players say, I'm not going to go for the extra 5 million, whatever. I'd rather stay in Milwaukee where the sellout fans are and then perform my best. I mean, that's my selling point. I think it's a great city.
I never fully appreciated Milwaukee until I went to a Bucks Clippers game in Los Angeles when I was in a business trip. And it took me 2 hours to get to the LA Coliseum off the 110. And then
this is a long time ago then. The Coliseum. John, what year was this? 1980?
No, but just hear me out. Please be patient and hear me out. I have a tremendous point.
John and I just got rid of our typewriters 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, John, I'm surprised John's on. I didn't know Zoom took dial-up.
Exactly.
Open the door and he drives right through, everybody.
So I went to the Coliseum. Then we went to a Dodger game about 6 months later, and it took us. We got there. By the time we got there, it was the second inning, and by the time we had to leave, it was the seventh inning. So just to beat the traffic and whatever. So Milwaukee is a very convenient town. You can just leave your house, get to the event, and leave. But the weather's not as nice. That's fine.
Yeah, like today it's 97 degrees.
That's my big finish. The weather's not.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm guessing your weather is better than what we get here in Ottawa, Canada, which I'm told is the coldest capital in the entire world.
Really?
Oh my!
Yes.
I have so many friends in Ottawa. I have so many friends. I've got a very, very big hockey background with people that are my friends. I was privy enough to go to in Michigan, in Detroit, with Little Caesars to meet all the owners, and I became a fan because I was not an NHL guy. So I know the Red Wings are not doing very well, but I had a chance to meet with their owners, and then I just saw the passion people have for hockey, and then a lot of Canadians were there, and I'm a friend. I've golfed many times with Grant Fuhr in these whatever celebrity events, and what a great guy he is. So. It's just it's really terrible that we're missing out on sports in life right now, because sports is just such a mental getaway in our mind to help with what's going on in the world right now. And it's I'm on as you guys, there's no complaining. I'm on day 39. I've gone to the market twice, and it's I take a walk today, like 97 degrees, beautiful. But this is LA. There's no traffic. This is unheard of. There's no car on my street. I'm in a media business district where all the studios are at. Every Hollywood studio I live by. It's a ghost town, and it's very much Twilight Zone, and I don't like it. I hope this ends soon. As far as whatever's going to happen, we're going to find out soon. But my gosh, this is just a terrible disease that's going on and ruining not just the spirits of America.
Kato, Kaelin, we have to have him on our podcast, right? Okay, we've worked with Leroy Butler and Gary Ellerson, but this guy, he brings it. He's playing golf with Grant Fuhr. Kato, excitement for me in my retirement years. I go across the street, we have an ailing neighbor, and I walk her dog. I mean, that's it.
What do you charge, Tom?
No, it's free. She tries to feed me occasionally, but I'm not sure about that food.
I've got phone calls. People are going, "Who's the guy walking the dog holding up his sports helmet?"
The old weatherman. Oh dear.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, I was my trip to Wisconsin. I was I was heading out there in May, June. I like to always take games, but the sad news is my brother, he lost his son March 15th to glioblastoma.
So sorry.
Oh, no.
And he was only 29 years old, and we have everything's there's no closure because we can't have a funeral of 10 or more, and we're waiting for this is more devastating news, but it's like you can't see family, you can't hug. So I'm praying for this to end because we need, as you guys know, we do need sports, and there's nothing better than going to Miller Park or what the new name now, American Family Park. But there's no better camaraderie than having a beer, being with buddies, and watching and cheering the Brewers on. It's what summer's about. It's Summerfest, And I hope it all comes back and meet up with you guys and do it live in studio.
We would love, yeah, there you go. And Kato, certainly thoughts and prayers for your brother, the family, the soul of your neighbor. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Brother Mark,
it is special coming home, though, isn't it? Excuse me. It's really special to you. I mean, it's all home is always in Milwaukee's in your heart, right? No matter where you are.
Yeah, it is. Well, after the show, I'm going to follow you guys on Instagram, because what I do, and I have a show. It's called I travel the country, even the world, and we do this. It's called Wizard World. I'm the MC. It's the world's largest traveling Comic-Con, where we represent all the Marvel movies, the DC Comics. So we're at the Avengers or Aquaman, and I MC the event where we have live performances on stage. Well, we do every convention center. And I was just in talks with I'm sure John knows Tim Sheehy of working to come to Milwaukee, and all this stuff just happens. So it's just the worst news that could happen. And all my work is in a convention center with thousands of people. It's just so much fun. Obviously, that's was my job, and now it's obviously in jeopardy because we're supposed to be in Philadelphia, Chicago, and they're. Unless the mayors pass some kind of law coming up in June, July, and August, which is our biggest months, it's pretty sad for me because it's the most fun job. And when I go to every airport, I do this thing called the airport races. Tom, you might like this. When people get off their flights, off the gate, I make it like a horse race, and then I post them, and it became a very big thing. It's like, man wearing funny hat and cheese head, followed by lady with Samsonite. But it caught on, and everybody's going, where are your races, Kato? I'm like, there's no airports.
My wife and I moved to a condo, one level. We downsized, and somebody said, do you like this? I said, yeah, the next move, if the good Lord allows me to live long enough, I'm going to go to assisted living where I will call bingo games, play by play. That's about the excitement. I love your attitude. I love your heart. And Colin, like Kato, you're just great people. What do you do up there in terms of the reaction to the pandemic? How is everybody feeling as it relates to getting back to work versus a life and death situation and where you're trying to put health and safety first?
Well, we're lucky here. We haven't had a whole lot of cases in Ottawa. It's a pretty big city, but we've been spared so far. I think people are just frustrated, as Kato was saying, just being at home. The city's pretty good. We have it's a government city, and most people's job salaries are covered. So, there's no problem in that regard in this area. But as you say, you can't see your family. I got grandkids, and I haven't seen them in months. They came by a couple of days ago. They stood out in the driveway and waved at me, and then they left me a can of Coke. But I'd love to see him and love to talk to him. And the whole life shut down. I got a kid who's a really good little hockey player, and he don't know when he's going to get back at it. And it's coming up on a big season for him, and it's frustrating in that regard. But as he said, it's a horrible disease, and we just have to be patient and let it run its course, because it sounds like if we push it, it's just going to just get worse. So I'm just going to mention, I'm watching a little draft here. Chase Claypool did go to Pittsburgh, right. So but at 50th fifth. So there's another guy off the board, and right after the Bears take Jalen Johnson, really interesting cornerback from Utah. Had a little bit of an injury, might have gone a little bit higher, but one of those long, tall cornerbacks with a lot of length that's going to help them in their secondary.
Yeah, he's a kid I think some folks, John, had associated with the Packers. Johnson.
Yeah, that Johnson and Claypool especially. That was the one that I was looking at. Pittsburgh was I believe that was their first pick.
That was their first pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was. Yeah, so now the Packers are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 more picks. And those offensive tackles, Jones and Cleveland are still there. So
still out there, yeah.
Well, you guys got a lot going on. I'm going to get going on my second walk, but I got to tell you, there's this little saying I live by. I think, Tom, you'll go by it too. I think during these times, you have to remember, if your neighbors need food, give them food. If your neighbors need water, give them water. If your neighbors need money, give them water. And I think
Well, it
I
was
love
not
being
only
part
a
of the show.
privilege. Yeah, there you go. Not only a privilege and a fun, but a blessing to have you. Your attitude is the greatest, and I think you impact a lot of people in the best way. We'd love to team up in some fashion in your busy life, so let's not make this the last time. Thank you for the privilege.
Oh, no, and
Thank you
honestly,
so much.
I will when I come to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, I will definitely get up. Let's do something. And like I said, my passion, my late father and mother, just seeing them when Packers would score a touchdown, we had a hallway, and they would run down the hallway every touchdown and kiss each other. So I grew up with that of them, and they were a little bit heavy, so their stomachs would hit. This is way before headbutting. And it's because of that I think it's just carried over, and it's so near and dear to my heart that I really appreciate everything Wisconsin. And I sure hope Menards calls me and says, "We want Kato for commercial."
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? And listen, that your parents live on through that great heart of yours. Have a good walk. Be safe. It was really enjoyable. We are really thankful.
Thanks. And everybody in Milwaukee, I love you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, baby. See ya.